Yo, what is up, guys? King Vanwell back at you with a long time coming part 8. What if Deku was Toge Inumaki? Part 8. Oh, sorry I've been kind of sleeping on this series bit. I just had a lot going on, so I figured, hey, let's just get a few things up, especially with the Doom What If. And, yeah. I don't know why I put music in there if it's just gonna cut out like that. But yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, this is gonna be hopefully the final but it's either going to be split across one part or two, but I'm going to be trying to wrap up this series since, well, it's dragged out for a bit longer and I want to move some new stuff in, as well as, well, this is close enough to the end of the story where I like it. But anyway, let's go along, shall we? So, to recap what last part, Deku took care of all the gnomes that were invading Hosu. As, well, Setsuna nearly had an close encounter with death, as after, well, Deku had quite a bit of an outburst. He killed all the gnomes in the area, as that close incident sparked a night of passion that will never soon be forgotten. So, the two lovers embraced each other, and now we're on to the next part. As after everything is finally settled down, there was a phone call. This phone call was different, as it showed no caller ID, not even number. It was just not there. As he picked up and said, well, assuming that it's somebody who didn't know how to speak in sushi or rice bowl, he put on the mask and said, hello? Is this Izuku Midoriya? Yes. As he activates his quirk and says, who's asking? As the person outside the line forcibly says, well, this Detective now Masa. I'm contacting you about the recent events, well, the events about Shigaraki. Says, what the? Why did I tell him classified information? As he says, I was just seeing who you really were. As he said, your quirk. He says, that's right. I forgot it works over communication as well. Anyway, now you know why I called you here. Let me, let me just ask. Can you come and do a job for us? As he says, job? Well, we got two prisoners here with very delicate information that we'd like to get out of them, and neither are breaking. So, since you just showed that you can get the answers out of me, we want the answers out of him. I see. And what exactly are you trying to find? Be honest with me. I'd rather not use my quirk. We are trying to find the true leader of the League of Villains. The one who's been circulating the information and power. The recent Nomus and the attack on Hosu. And hopefully take him down before anything else happens. As Deku says, alright. It says, don't tell anybody this, but come to this disclosed location that I've sent to your phone at 0800 tomorrow morning. And says, will that be all? Yes, but, like I said, nobody is to know. Not even Setsuna. How did you know? As he said, well, you can get the answers out of people using your quirk, however I dig for my answers. As he hangs up the phone, as, well, Deku like to ponder this. As he goes to class like normal, but the question is still stuck in the back of his mind. As Setsuna even pulls him up on it and says, hey, are you okay? It's like in your mind. As Deku just said, yeah, sorry, I was a bit tired. I had to do some extra work last night because of the events and all the paperwork at the file. It says, ah, I see. You know, you can always copy off me. It says, you know, I'm not dumb, it's just I forgot to do it. Yeah, I know. But I want to be a, well, I would want to be a very helpful girlfriend. And I thank you for that. And she says, as Bucker, who's sitting across from them, is saying, can you two lovebirds quit it? You're kind of making everybody around here feel like a third character, well, a side character. Well, I don't really care about the rest of those extras, but you're making me feel like a side character over here. Come on! And it's like, well, boo-hoo. That's too bad for you, isn't it, Bucker? It says, ah, you're cheeky, aren't you, Setsuna? I see why you like her. It's like, and that prickly attitude is gonna land you a date with Uraka. I said, what? How did you? And says, a woman has her secrets. And also, it's kind of fucking obvious. It says, why you little. How would, if you do anything, I'll have a rumor spreading around about that you like her. Either that could go bad, well, even though you do like her, you're too embarrassed to admit it, aren't you? It's like, shut it! It says, oh my god, he looks so adorable when he's all wound up. As or Deku was in the middle of eating a rice bowl, was struggling not to choke on his food as he's trying to contain all the laughter. As wait, he finally gets it down and says, seven, seven. It's like, not you too. As well, the next day rolls around as well. He had already let Aizawa know that he won't be coming in. As he asked for a reason why. Well, he was asking just for formality so he could tell the class. He was already debriefed by now master. So he was getting ready as he met the disclosed location, which was an empty parking lot at 8 o'clock. As a black car with tinted windows rolls or pulls up as it rolls down the windows and he gets inside. And as no master sitting in the back with him, says, ah, nice to finally meet you myself. As well, he said, well, we can already skip the formalities as I already introduced who I am. But there's one thing I'd like to ask before we go in, as Rebecca with his mask on says, yeah, sure, what is it? Your quirk. What's stopping you from just, well, being most powerful? As it says, well, my throat, but if I can somehow find a way of not having to worry about that ever breaking, I'm good. I'm effectively a walking atom bomb. As Hamasa is relieved that there is still a human element that seems to not ascend him to godhood, but he says, "Okay, that's a bit scary to know that if you had a healing ability, that you would effectively be God." Yeah, but I don't like playing God. Hell, this power has been more of a burden to me than it has been a help. It's only recently when I've started hanging out with my friends and even my precious girlfriend that she, well, she helped me find my true self, my inner meaning. And even, well, my classmates and my mentors. They show me what it is to truly live. And that's what I've come to cherish the most. So if there's even a remote chance that today will help bring that towards a brighter future, I'm willing to put anything on the line. Snowmaster just smiles, knowing that he is a genuine, heartfelt, and honest kid. Says, that's what I like to hear. You're definitely a great hero. I can see that just by talking with you. As well, Nizuki trips over as well a bit, as he's just a bit stammered, as I didn't expect to be complimented so easily. As they finally arrive at Tartarus. The reason why they had all the security and whatnot breach around Deku is he's a high interest target, as his power is off the charts. However, because of that reason, he's not being targeted outright. If the media were to, or some villains were to try and ambush him while he's not at, in your way, or he was surrounded by civilians, that would cause that. But when he's by himself, that would be prime pickings. So they had to make sure that he isn't at least being tailed. So that's why the empty lot was chosen. Somewhere wide open where nobody can be ambushed that easily. As they arrive at Tartarus, he's patted down all over as well. He just said, "Sorry, this is just a formality we have. Obviously, we can't be too safe, no matter how accomplished the hero may be." Says, Deku says, I understand." This guard says, "Put anything electronic or metal through the scanning machine." As he takes off his mask and puts it through it, as the master just says, "Wait, your mask's electronic? You probably didn't notice, or I probably don't know, but that thing's translating my. Oh, wait. This is. I realize I said he just took his mask off. I'll just say he knows when he says it's electronic, as it finally comes outside the other scanner as it's given the all clear. And Deku puts it back on and says, "This thing amplifies my voice as well as translates my speech." Your speech? Do you mean it stops you from using your power? No, it more translates the words I can say into full sentences without causing a chaotic disaster. Oh, I see. As they walk down, as they reach the maximum security ward, where they only keep, well, the worst of the worst. The villains that are worth less than under the scum of the foot of society. So, they reach Shigaraki's detaining cell. As he says, You. As he starts getting riled up as the gun's faced towards him, as no one else puts his hand up just to detonate the sentries. As he says, now, Shigaraki. Should I say Tomura? Don't be so hasty. You're gonna be talking real soon. I'll never talk to pieces of shit like you. My master is going to come here and break me out of this place. Oh? And who's your master? Like I'd ever tell you. Deku pulls down his mask and stands right in front of him. As he says, "Who is your master?" And it's like, all for one. What the hell did you do? As he puts in the mask and says, "My job." So, he He then says to Namasu, instead of me questioning him, I can get you to do it. So, and how exactly is that going to work? Your quirk can only affect him when you're speaking. True, unless I, well, unless I change his perception of things. As he pulls out his mask and says, for the next 10 minutes, you're going to tell us anything we want to hear. You're going to tell us everything you know. As well, Shigaraki in his mind was trying to say, like hell I will. As he says, yes, whatever you want. As Namasa was just surprised and says, he's under a compulsion. He will say anything and everything and answer anything truthfully. As he tests it out. As he said, well, okay. What's your motive? To kill All Might and reform society. Why? Well, Namasa just says why. As he says, for my master's wishes. And where's your master? Hiding at... As he reveals the location where All For One was hiding. As people be like, well, he actually didn't know in the manga. I'm just gonna say he does. Or he knows roughly where he will be. And then he says, what's All For One's weakness? His body is collapsing. He's dying slowly. He's not as strong, but he can take quirks. As the time is almost running up, as he asks one last question, but to end it before, well, they just don't want to be in here for too much longer, as any time they can have to go plan around is being used as what can be used to go take down All For One. As well, they get the last of the information out of him, which then Dirk comes up with a brilliant idea. As he says to Namasa, so, we're going to fight All For One, am I correct? He says, yes, that's right. I want to join in. Wait, what? You can't. It's too dangerous. Even if you have a powerful quirk, if this is a battle for pro heroes. Look, I know you don't exactly trust me. You don't know me that well. But there's one thing I'd wish is that I be a part of this. Because if I can at least be able to, well, put this person down, I won't have to worry about seeing loved ones near me ever get hurt by his hands. As Namasa basically just gulps and just goes, man, I'd be scorned as being a detective just for even considering this, but I'll pull some strings and see if I can get you in there. However, you won't be in the front assault team, you'll be in the backup. It says that's fine, as long as I know I can be of help. Jeez. Anyway, so what was your master plan you had? As Deku says, well, from what we know, he's around this location, and he wasn't lying. However, I think there's one person who knows exactly how to get to him. As he said, and who's that? Well, he's right next to us. Since they're in the middle of the corridor, as Namasa looks around and sees Kurogiri. You don't mean... Yep. We're gonna use their own little butler against them. How? Let me worry about that one. As a strategy was formulated as they got the top heroes around. As it was even more. Like, the forces were built up straight away, as they had time to prepare, as no one knew of anything happening. All for One certainly didn't know that the shadows were now being leaked to the light. They're soon going to be, eaten away. And they are being forced back into whence they came. As now, a strike force has gathered up at, undercover in an undisclosed location has been gathered up. As Kurigiri was brought in handcuffs and chains. As Deku has, before this, Deku had said to Setsuna, being truthfully honest and being painfully clear, and says, I'm going to go and fight All for One. As he already had informed her of who All for One is after speaking with Shigaraki. As, he made up some excuse about where he got the information from, but anyway, doesn't matter. As she says, then take me with you. As he says, no. Why? Am I not strong enough? Says, no. Then what is it? Tell me. I want to be able to support you in this. As he just says, because if I lose you, I lose everything. As she says, but if I lose you, I lose everything too. But here's the thing, I'm not gonna die. And I promise you, I'll come back to you. So please, just sit here and believe in me. I want to be able to return back into your arms. Do you understand? She starts crying, but she wipes away the tears quickly. She says, yes, I understand. As, he gets snapped out of it as he was thinking of that conversation he had. As the investigators and also the pro heroes, and especially All Might, had said, Midoriya, snap out of it. Get your head in the game. This is about to be the toughest battle of our lives. As, Deku is getting ready. As as Deku just says, control. As he starts controlling Kurigiri, as he's manipulating his thoughts to create a portal all the way to All for One. As Kurigiri's now been dropped out of his chains and put back in his suit. As he walks in as All for One, who was sitting in his chair with all his medical equipment, says, "Ah, Kurigiri. So, you finally returned." It says, "Yes, Master. I'm sorry that I've kept you waiting." And as he says, "No need. I understand that you were locked up in Tartarus. How did you manage to escape?" "Well, we had some help from the inside." "Oh? And who would that be?" "The hero killer Stain. As they were trying to move him into another facility, there was a violent attack that caused a distraction big enough for for me to free myself after waiting patiently. As he says, very impressive. And what of Toma? Has he escaped as well? He said, yes, he has. And he is gathering forces as we speak. I came to relay a message. As he, Wolf One says, and what is this message? As a large black portal opens up, it says, justice is served. As All Might flies out and will hit and immediately bashes right into All for One. As he All for One quite weakened as he was in his medical equipment being ripped out of his body forcefully, as it was helping him keep himself alive. As they were on equal footing for a while. As he was seeing the labs with for those as well as for those who haven't read up to the manga, but Dr. Ujiko was there working on the high-end nomus. As he released, they were a bit too early, however they had no other choice. As they released all their nomus, as they were strong enough to fight back, however they did not have the intelligence that Kurogiri did. As for those who don't know, Kurogiri is actually a nomu. In fact, he's the childhood friend and best friend of Aizawa, known as Shirakumo, before he had died. Yes, I have heavy manga spoilers today. As the fight started to break out as the top heroes start fighting against the Nomu. As they're being pushed back as Ujiko was pumping some quirk enhancing drugs into these high-end Nomus as they'll forcefully getting stronger and more wild. As one even raised their hand against him. As it was being kicked out of the way by Mirako. And says, "Hey old man, you thought she was so clever making your little toys. However, your toys are so easy to break." As she goes in for a lunar impact, followed by Endeavor lighting some of them on fire, and All Might Edgeshot, All Might Edgeshot, Gran Torino, Sir Night Eye, were all ganging up on All for One, as he was barely keeping them all contained at bay using his air cannons was effective because they were in a tight space. However, it was also very ineffective due to the fact he would hit his own creations, therefore reducing his own backup. As he would usually not have a concern for other people's lives or other things' lives. This is the only thing keeping him from living and dying. As he finally decided to unleash his trump card. A super quirk enhancer. That's produced none other by David Shield. And if you were to ask, how did he get that? Well, seeing as he had a lot of planning to do, he decided the first thing he had to do was acquire a failsafe. So, the events of the two movies didn't happen as he assigned people, very highly skilled assassins, and very skilled assassins and experts at hiding to sneak in and grab it. As obviously they couldn't be at outrage and panic for it, as if it got out to the media that David was producing such an item, he'd get scorned. So no evidence in the media had been betraying this. So all the heroes were immediately put onto a back foot as the air cannon alone was able to shatter away metal. With limitless potential, it seems that his strength is only growing stronger and stronger. He's not giving up, as he starts laughing. Ah, All Might. All the rest of you pathetic heroes. You really think that some cheap trick was enough to take me down? My, how the society has fallen. To think that the once great and heroic, well, heroic adversaries of mine would resort to such cheap tactics. As he was going to continue his monologue until he was cut off by saying, "It wasn't their antics, it was mine." As well, um, All Might said, "Midoriya, what are you doing? Get out of here!" As he said, "No can do, sir." Says, "Oh, All Might, is this a precious student of yours?" Says, "All for one, you bastard! Don't you dare think of doing it." As he says, "Oh, with the look on your face after I do it. It'll only make it all the more worth it." He starts raising an arm up. As Deku just says, or just sighs and goes, "Bind." As All Might's arms, well, no, All for One's arms start becoming restricted as they're unable to move, as he is unable to move, no matter how much he's trying to forcefully move. He can't. As, well, Deku then says, "Get crushed." As, well, All for One is slowly being crushed by, like, a strong, intense gravitational field. As, well, it's compressing on his skin, causing numerous fractures. However, he blasts and enlarges his arms using the air cannons to repel the force. As there's multiple injuries on his arms, however, nothing as serious as being completely turned into a burger patty. As, well, Deku still has his mask on, as it says, "Oh, you're still alive, are we?" And says, So you're that infamous kid. The one whose words turn into reality. Quite an interesting power you got there." And says, as Deku just says, "Yes, it is. To think that my power, which is the one that I was born with, is able to top yours from multiple generations of stolen power. Clearly, what does it say about you? It's not the quirk that makes the man, but it's the man that makes the quirk's power shine. And I believe that with every ounce of my being. Standing right here, it is clear to see, even from my perspective of not even being a provisional hero, I can see that you clearly think of yourself as God, playing with us silly mortals, and with your newfound power. However, you had too much hubris. Now you must suffer, and pay for well, your untimely demise will be enough to pay for your actions." As All for One is now bit getting a bit angry by this, but also is a bit unsettlingly happy. As he starts saying, "Yes, give in to the anger. Give in to it. Become like me. As Deku says, I'm nothing like you. Oh, but we have strong ideals. We're both powerful and we can do whatever the hell we want. No society can hold us back, and says, I don't need society. I don't care about this power. Truthfully, I never have. Oh, I could not have it for all I care. Oh, the one thing I'm grateful for it is that I'm able to kick your ass. But I'm doing it all for her sake, so she doesn't have to. So we don't have to ever worry about seeing your face ruin our futures. As he then just says, enough of this farce. As he sets his. Well, he signals to the other heroes, split of a second, to, well, move out the way. And then he takes one deep breath in, as, well, All For One is charging the most powerful air cannon he possibly can, using, well, going over the device's limit, and even injecting himself with another quirk-enhancing drug. So his body is going into overdrive from all of this. So, and he starts charging an air cannon in both his arms and shoots it forward. And to retort back, Deku says this.